Hey, everybody. Uh, every single one of you, um, some of you familiar faces and people that I know and interact with on a regular basis, and some of you absolute strangers from other parts of this world. It's a Tuesday. I'm a clinical therapist. I'm a dad of 5 living children and one who's on the other side that I never got a chance to raise. And that's come up this last week or so. I've had some moments where I felt some comfort in that realm of my fatherhood, and that grief and loss there. And I've had some people who I felt like I could trust, to get really raw with and open up about some of those experiences. And so it's been on my mind. It's been in my heart this week. And I'm just on the way to work this morning. Um, Went through the car wash. Um, Got a message from one of my clients that I adore, who's making great progress, who says who's sick and isn't going to make it in today. And so I'm kind of thinking, like, what am I going to do this morning? Different tasks and things. And I happened to scroll Instagram. Had a couple of new followers, and I was kind of seeing who is this, and I found this video from a mom whose child passed away about 5 years ago, and her name is Sophie. And I started watching some of her videos, and it just hit so deep. As a dad, I think as a dad, I'll do anything for my kids. Anything. And so as I watched these videos of this sweet little girl, her parents and her siblings celebrating her memory, I just felt so much love, and at the same time felt so much sadness. So much sadness that people have to suffer, that there is grief, that there is loss in this world, that there is disability, that there's hate, that there are so many of us look so different from one another, and how beautiful that is, but how sometimes that's used to hurt and used to bully. And not many people know that I experienced bullying and abuse when I was younger. And then my oldest experienced some gnarly bullying and some serious hate when she was in grade school, being told that she should go crawl under a rock and die, that she was ugly. And my friends, it's no wonder that we are dealing with a mental health crisis. It's no wonder that so many people lack self-love. It's no wonder that so many people so sadly hate themselves and feel like they don't fit in. Just feel that disconnect, that they don't belong or that they're unwanted. I'm sure I messaged this new friend, Sophie's mom, and just told her kind of what I'm saying to you guys right now. Whoever stumbles upon this, that here's this big tough guy about to walk into work and be a therapist today. I'm going to record a podcast episode later today with two other big strong men, and I can't get out. This rawness and this emotion is just so. I'm just going to sit here and feel it for a minute. Most of the time in my life, I tell everyone else, you need to feel it. Whether it's my kids or when I go to my breakfast or lunch meetings with my buddies. And as much as we're sarcastic and silly and boys, we sit and get real with each other. And I feel so grateful that I have so many people in my life that will allow me to and even encourage me to feel it. But I have this tendency to tell everyone else that they should feel it. I'll interrupt a therapy session as somebody's sharing, and I'll say, hold on a minute. What are you feeling right now? What's coming up for you? Just notice it. Don't judge it. Don't analyze it. Excuse me. Don't try to shut it down. Don't pretend it's not there. But just get to know those emotions. Just get to know that pain. I know it sucks. It's not fair. It's uncomfortable. It's painful. It causes suffering. But when we hold it in, please know that pain is coming out somewhere. As a big tough guy, this is I'm going to take my own advice. I'm going to take my own medicine, because so much of me wants to shut this down and not feel it and pretend like everything's good, that I don't have emotions, that I'm there for everybody else. And there's something right now telling me to just feel it, just let it in. And in a world where, as Gabor Mate says, the lengths, well, he's quoting someone else, but he says the lengths that we go to, the contortions that we put ourselves through to just have a moment of not being ourselves, of not sitting in this, of not feeling it. It's just kind of fascinating to me how much we will bend and manipulate to not feel, to not experience what's going on within us. So again, please know that when you're feeling pain and discomfort, sorrow, grief, anger, if you've been victimized, that pain isn't something you can just swallow and it will dissolve and it will disappear. It goes with you. It goes with me. And I firmly believe the best way, I don't want to say the only way, but the best way to heal is to get it out. And there's a variety of ways to get it out. Pull up your camera, just like this, sitting outside of your work or your home or whatever, and talk. Maybe you journal. Get out a pad and a pencil or pen and just write what you're feeling. Go into nature, outside, walk down the road. If you live near trees and a forest or a stream or something, go connect. But feel it. Provided that you're safe and that you have whatever supports are necessary. But I encourage you to face your pain, to heal it. There's a lot of pain in this world. And sometimes I find myself discouraged and overwhelmed by it all. That how could people do these things? How could people do this, do that, say this, or treat someone that way? I think we've got to do our part to eradicate that pain. I use the phrase eradicate suffering with our nonprofit. That mission to eradicate suffering. Like, I understand how big that is, to heal it, to cure it. If you haven't ever heard that story about the girl and the starfish on the beach, Google it. There's a few different versions out there. Actually, I'll just tell my version, my favorite version. And if you've already heard it, then, have a great rest of your day and know that you're loved. But the way I love this story, that I heard this story, and what resonated with me is there's an old man who just gets to the beach, just to the ocean. And he's a little grumpy. He's had some pain. He's had some loss in his life, and it's led him to be cynical. It's led him to be angry and resentful. And as he's getting to the beach, he's starting his walk, and he notices starfish. As the tide has come in, the tide has brought in the starfish. Hundreds and thousands, just all across the beach. And I'm no marine biologist, I suppose, but I guess the starfish aren't very mobile. And what's going to happen is they're all going to dry out in the sun as the tide is receding. And there's a little girl, 4 or 5. My little girl's age. One by one, picking up little starfish and throwing them back into the ocean. And the old man watches her doing this for a while and finally says, "Little girl, what are you doing?" And she says, "I'm throwing the starfish back. They're going to dry out. They're going to die. And I've got to put them back in the ocean. I've got to save them." And he says, as he looks up and down the beach, "There are too many. You're just a little girl. You can't possibly make a difference. You can't save all of them." And she picks up the next starfish and looks at him and throws it back into the ocean. And she says, "It made a difference to that one." Anyone who comes across this, I'm begging you, make a difference today. Reach out to somebody that you know is hurting. Just connect with them. Just tell them that they're loved. Just show them kindness. And maybe you can't think of anybody, or maybe there are circumstances that prevent you from connecting with them. That's okay. There's a lot of things I don't know and don't understand. But find a stranger. You could go to the grocery store. You could go to the mall. You could go out to the bus stop. You could go to a park. I guarantee you, if you pay enough attention for a few minutes, you will find somebody who's in distress. You will find somebody who is sad. Somebody who's lonely. And you don't need to go to them and say, well, you look depressed. Let me help you. Let me fix you. That's not what I'm saying. But you can go to somebody and say, you look really nice today. Or, wow, I saw you playing with your child. Those kids are so lucky to have you. Or to a first responder. Thanks for doing what you do. I couldn't do it. I'm glad you're there. Maybe to one of your elderly family members who is not long for this life. Share with them some good memories, something positive. Just thank you. Hold the door for someone and just comment on an outfit. You might even tease somebody. I've got a few people that I drive a Chevy now. I'm very sad. I traded in my Jeep. And I have a few people that, those Ford people. Sometimes showing love and compassion and connection is in the form of teasing. Very different from bullying. Very different from ridicule, which kind of started out my feelings about this video. Make a connection. Connect. I've got a friend coming in today, Cami. We're going to record a podcast. She's just going to start a podcast. And so I'm going to visit with her. And she uses the name, what do you call that? Username or handle? Make real connections. Make real connections. Man, there's a lot to be grateful for. There's a lot of pain. And there's a lot of suffering. And again, I'm begging you. And I'll do it too. All of us collectively. Let's team up. Let's help others. It doesn't cost anything just to be kind. It's just to make a nice compliment to someone else. To show love. To show compassion. To show understanding. And so, particularly today, in Sophie's honor and Sophie's memory, thank you for taking your pain and creating a purpose with it. Turning it into something where a random stranger has an opportunity to feel some big emotions on a Tuesday. Thank you for having the courage and the strength to show up, to put yourself out there, to honor your daughter. You guys are not alone. You don't have to suffer in silence. You don't have to be alone. There are people who care. So, happy Tuesday. I would love to receive a message that says, hey stranger, I saw your video and this is who I connected with today. This is what I did. I want to know, I want to know the results. I'll report back too. So connect with me. Let me know what you do to save one little starfish. today. Let's turn this into something big, huh? Much love. Have a great Tuesday. Have a great week. Tomorrow's a new month, I think, yeah? Let's do something big. Let's do something big in May. And we'll get to June and we'll just keep going. Let's do something. You're loved.